Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to the channel. Now today, I will be doing a re-upload of my AFL Evolution 3 wishlist video. Now with AFL 23 being announced, I thought why not put this out to the scene once again. See if we can get some developers to look at the game to see some of the things that we want to see in the new AFL 23 game that will be releasing next year. Now the reason I haven't gone and made a brand new wishlist video is because we actually covered quite a lot. So if you guys haven't watched this video, please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. This is our opportunity to post our wish list, what we want. So make sure to get into the comments. Let's get all the comments rocking with what you guys want to see in the new up and coming AFL 23 game that is releasing next year. So sit back, relax. This video I will be referring to AFL 23 as AFL Evolution 3 as it is from a little bit far back, but this was a comprised wish list list of basically I'd say around 100 people. I've seen that many comments from a lot of people. We actually put like a little agenda out. Everyone was able to comment what they wanted to see. So sit back, relax. If you guys have already saw this video, please comment down below some of the things you still want to see in AFL 23. We've got a lot of content coming to the channel for AFL, so sit back. AFL 23 should be an absolute banger, so I'm excited. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys want to see. Enjoy the video, and let's get straight into it. Was our first ever game on the next-gen consoles on the PS4 and the Xbox 360. Personally, I did pick this up the first day it ever came out. It was, like I said, the first game to ever come to the new consoles. It was received okay. I mean, yes, the graphics weren't really up to par of what we actually thought they were going to be. I was kind of grateful, though, that we had an AFL Evolution game. I had a lot of fun with this. I did play a hell of a lot. But this was the stepping stone for the AFL Evolution future. And I mean, we're just got to be grateful that it was there. Some of the things I actually liked about this is we did have the TAC Cup teams in AFL Evo 1. But like I said, there were certain things I just could not get my head around. The graphics weren't really like up to standard, and I felt like the gameplay was very, very stiff. But was very grateful that we actually had a game, and that led us on to AFL Evolution 2 that actually came out last year in 2020. This was a big improvement, and massive improvement from AFL Evolution 1. It was a much better looking game. I've played over, it'd have to be around 500 games of AFL Evolution. I've had career series, I've had coach series. This is definitely one of my favorite games that I've actually played. Like I said, I played it for a good 7 to 8 months, and I still do get in there and play a few times. They just released a season pack, maybe, I think it was like a month ago now, but massive improvements. The game was a lot more slicker. It was a lot more fast-paced. I felt like you had a lot more control on the game, but there were certain things in the game that definitely needed to be adjusted, and today I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to give you guys my wish list for AFL Evolution 3 and some of your guys' thoughts that I saw in the Discord. Like I said, if you guys agree with some of the things we're going to be talking about, please comment down below, and comment down below what you guys want to see in the game, because if we can get more and more views on this video, then hopefully the creators of AFL Evolution 3 can actually see this video. So we've actually separated the wish list into 4 different parts. We've got gameplay, presentation, game modes, extras. So gameplay, we're going to go over everything: the gameplay, the presentation, our game modes, and also all the other little stuff. So why not start it out with gameplay? Now, gameplay is probably the most important facet of a AFL Evolution game, and I know how hard it is for the creators of the devs to basically resemble an AFL game. There's 24 players on a team. There's 18 players on the field. 36 combined. It is actually a tough game to resemble. Now, when AFL Evolution 2 came out, it was a big improvement. There's zones, players set up differently, but I feel like there has to be some ways to improve this. If you do play a lot of AFL Evolution 2 like I have, you do realize the games are a lot similar. So let's start it off with the wish list, and let's just start off with, like I said, the gameplay. So first off, I feel like there has to be a way for the gameplay to feel different every single time you play a match. If you're versing the bottom team, you're versing the top team, I feel like you need to have a transparency. I mean, you verse the top team, they're set up well, they play well, I feel like your game against the top team has to be tougher than it is against the bottom team. Now, the teams like Richmond, Geelong, when I'm playing AFL Evolution 2 career mode, coach mode, some of them teams are at the bottom of the ladder and they've got the best rated players on the AFL Evolution ratings list. So that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I don't really understand that. I feel like that is an easy fix. I feel like you can definitely change the sliders to allow the good teams to be good and the bad teams to, play around their level. Another thing I want to see with gameplay is less congestion. Now this is tough. I know there is 36 players on the field. It is extremely tough to get players spaced out. Now, I did like the fact in AFL Evolution 2, they actually added like a quick kick button, which was the triangle and the Y. Now, the congestion just leads to, I'd say, over 400 tackles. Everyone just tackling each other. You can't really release the ball. Now, there are some times in AFL Evolution 2 where the gameplay flows really well. You can get over the top, you can overlap handball, but I feel like if they can fix up the congestion, not really allow players to be sucked into the ball, it will definitely allow for a more free-flowing gameplay experience for AFL Evolution. Now, in NBA 2K16, they actually added a feature to the games where it kind of allowed every single game to be different. Now, they had players being cold for a period. I feel like they need to add that into AFL Evolution. They need to allow the game to feel different every single time you pick it up, every single time you play it. I know that is tough to do, but there has to be a way you can make teams play a little bit different. Their defensive style is different. I feel like every single team just plays the exact same way in these AFL Evolution games. And I feel like now 2 games they've had the chances to really learn how teams play. Maybe there's a way they can adjust the way teams set up, teams defend, where players play. There are some times where you play, let's say, a Richmond, and they just play Tom Lynch in the ruck for a long, long time. That is just not realistic. Tom Lynch barely plays in the ruck. There has to be some ways you can change the sliders. The CPU makes smart decisions. If we're using a certain player, if a certain player is dominating, maybe they'll switch another player onto him. Just small little features like that can really enhance the gameplay experience. I feel like the gameplay is a really nice pace. I don't mind the pace. You can speed up the pace if you want in the settings, so they do allow that. And they did actually allow us to have sliders. Now, I feel like they need to actually allow us to have more sliders. If you play NBA 2K, the sliders are just ridiculous. And also allow us to upload the sliders to like a cloud. So if someone releases a sliders settings, we can just go on and download it. So you can have realistic footy, you can have CPU 100, you can have U100 and CPU 0. So something like that might be okay to add, like a sliders menu, like a cloud, where a community. You guys can just add in a sliders settings, you can upload it, we can download it, everyone can play on different sliders, just to allow the games to feel a little bit more realistic, because I know the gameplay sometimes runs very smoothly, but there's some other times where you'll verse the bottom of the ladder and they'll just beat you. So let's get that fixed. If we get the gameplay right, then I'm tell you what, everything else is easy to do, everything else is easy to fix. But in regards to the gameplay, can we please get a score review mode where, let's say, a goal's kicked and they have to go to a score review? I think that would be a lot of fun if they added that into the game, and allow a shot clock when you're having a shot on goal. This would allow, let's say online when you're playing someone, the chance to run out of time you got to play on. So allow us to add in that. That'd be a lot of fun if they could add in a shot clock and the score review into the game. Now, in regards to statistics, I still feel like the players don't play like themselves. We need the players, the star players, to play well. We need the star players to get their hands on the ball. I do talk about a bit later on the realistic stats. I do some sort of a realistic stats where I use like an engine where, let's say, Zach Merritt has 4 touches and it accumulates to 9 touches in the real AFL. If AFL Evo could do that, then then you have your star players getting the touches, and you would have realistic stats in the game. If they could add something like that, I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Let's see if they could do that in AFL Evolution 3, which I feel like they could. Adding realistic stats. There's got to be maybe like AFL Live stats if they could add that in. And then it comes into when you simulate games, you get realistic stats. You have realistic players leading the Coleman and all that good stuff. And then you get real life Brownlow medal winners. So you got, instead of Ruckman winning the Brownlow, you might get like a Dusty Martin or a midfielder. That is something I feel like they definitely need to add into the game. Let's try and eliminate congestion. Let's try and allow a fast flowing game of football, because I tell you what, if we do get this right, these games can be crazy. I mean, crazy good. I mean, you've seen NBA 2K, you've seen FIFA, the way they space FIFA out. AFL Evolution 2 was definitely a step in the right direction. I'll tell you what, things are looking up. So let's move on, and we'll go to presentation now. I feel like this has the most... I've got the amount of wishes for the presentation, and I'm going to start it off with custom TV stations. Now, hear me out. When you watch the AFL, you see the AFL with Fox Footy, you see Channel 7, you have all these different, I'd say, displays. I mean, when you watch Fox Footy, you know their scoreboard. When you're on Channel 7, you see their scoreboard. Why can't we add in, let's say they make up fake TV stations. So they've got, let's say, Channel 11. Channel 11 has the footy. You could have Wicked Witch TV. Just add a different experience every single time you play the game, so it's a different scoreboard. I mean, maybe try and get Fox Footy, try and get Channel 7 on board to get their scoreboard. So when you're playing a team on a Saturday afternoon, you play on Fox Footy. When you're playing a Friday night, you play on Channel 7. I mean, I like to add that little realistic experience. These presentation ideas are just little things that could make the game a lot more immersive and actually make it more easy on the eye. I mean, it'll make the game look a whole lot better with the presentation. You had Channel 7, you have Channel 10, and with that, have different commentators for every game. So I did see a list where it was about 6 different commentators who could come in. Now, I know some of these things may be a little bit unrealistic. How are we going to get 6 different commentators to come in for days and record all their stuff? But why not? When you're on Channel 7, you have different commentators. When you're on Fox Footy, you have different commentators. And maybe, just maybe, let's say we get 6 commentators to go on the AFL Evolution 3 game. Maybe there's a setting where you can actually pick which 2 commentators you have on. Maybe have like a boundary rider as well. We actually don't have a boundary rider in these games. Have a 3 commentary team, and maybe you can pick the 2 commentators, and maybe the boundary rider is the same all the single time. I mean, if you've got the Channel 7, you've got the Fox Footy, 2 different TV scoreboards, 2 different TV stations. Maybe add in that ability to have different commentators. Because I'll tell you what, you have different commentators, that may add into the game feeling a lot different every single time you play. Now, it might be a little bit too hard to have all these different commentators, but if they did, just give us the chance and allow us to pick them before the game. Maybe career mode you can't, but if you're playing a custom game, allow you to pick which commentary team you have on board. I know this is incredibly tough, but I tell you what, it's an idea that they definitely could use, because if AFL Evolution 3 does release on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, I tell you what, they have got the ability to really enhance this game. So let's move on to another one. Okay, so I also think they need to add coaches into the game. So have coaches cut scenes. They come down for the huddle at the quarter time break, the 3/4 time break. We don't have coaches in AFL Evo 1 and 2. I feel like that's a little easy add they could add in for the experience. And also just adding some generic coaches. So let's say you sack your coach, then you've got a different coach. FIFA do this pretty well with the general manager mode. So maybe also if we have like a coach career, you can create your coach, see what he looks like. Add coaches into AFL Evo 3, have them come down, like I said, have the little cutscenes. Also, add in player interviews. Why not have at halftime after the game, have some player interviews like NBA 2K do. Just get some footage, get some audio from the games that have already been played, and just put them on to certain players for teams. Maybe have like 3 players for each team, have their audio recorded where they actually have post-game interviews. I think that would be really, really nice. It will actually add to the realism of the game. And I mean, I feel like it's something easily they could put into the game. Now, doing this, they're definitely going to have to upgrade the player models. The player models are definitely going to have a little bit more emotion in them. They still do look a little bit stiff. Some player models look really, really good. The season pack just come out. Matt Rao looks amazing. But I feel like the player models need to improve. And if they improve, then there's a massive chance for them to have player interviews in the game. More jerseys. Allow us to have more Guernseys in the game. Get some throwback jerseys in there. And with the jerseys, allow for certain games to have logos on jerseys. So let's say you play in the AFL Grand Final. Have the AFL Grand Final logo. You play in the Anzac Day game. Have the Anzac Day logo. Now, I'm not too sure how this is going to work just with all the licensing, but surely there's a way you could get old AFL team jerseys in the game. I mean, like the Port Adelaide throwback jerseys, the Hawthorn Power Ranger jerseys. This is just something little. Also, if a team brings out an AFL jersey that season, put it in the game, update it into the game, have the Indigenous jerseys, have all that cool stuff. I mean, I feel like that is what you need to really make the game a lot more immersive. And, I mean, like I said, better on the eye. Jerseys and logos, please get that done in AFL Evo 3. Now, this is something I thought of. I'm not too sure if this is something big that you guys would want to see, but let's say you're playing a coach career game. Have in between, let's say, ball ups, have little animations where it shows you your next 5 games. Have updated scores from around the game. Let's say you're playing on a Saturday afternoon, then maybe down below it will come up with this score from the other game that's on. Now, I feel like this would, like I said, add to the presentation. If the game's closing in and you guys are going to win the game, they show who you're playing the next 5 games. Just little things like this that NBA 2K does that really adds to the game and makes the game a lot more real on the eye, and just really give that TV presentation, because at the end of the day, it is a game. You definitely want to enjoy it, but we want it to look like a TV presentation. We want every single game to look different. Like I said earlier, with the Foxtel and the 7 AFL broadcast, if Wicked Witch or anyone could come up with some fake TV stations, they could have them in the game, have different scoreboards for each game. I tell you what, every single game will feel different. It will look a whole lot better. Post-game highlights. Please add in post-game highlights, even a halftime show if you can. Have some highlights from the first half, have some highlights from this final game, and then have like a player, I mean, you could have like goals of the game or something like that, the top 5 plays. NBA 2K had this on the Xbox 360, so I feel like AFL could have this on the next-gen consoles. We're not asking a hell of a lot. It's definitely something they could work on. I mean, they do have highlights in this game, so why not add them at the end of the game? If they add that in, I tell you what, it's just gonna add to this game. Allow us to pick the crowd size. Now, I say this because sometimes you'll play, let's say, load up a custom match now in AFL Evolution 2. You load up the Gold Coast Suns v the GWS Giants of the MCG. How many people do we actually think is going to go to that game? Why can't we add into the game? We can actually add how much the crowd's going to be. I mean, if it's a top 2 clash, it's going to be a sellout. But if it's a bottom 2 clash, maybe you can add in that there's going to be not too many people at the game. I mean, I honestly feel like that's something you could add in, something easy. You don't want to have you don't want to have a sellout at Marvel Stadium between Gold Coast and Essendon. And if it is a sellout, why not just have an Essendon dominant crowd? I mean, why not give us the chance, give us the ability to add in add in how many people actually attend a game? I think that would be a lot of fun if we could do that. Also, adding custom banners. Can we make our own banners? That'd be a lot of fun. You can write some funny things on the banner. That would be a whole lot of fun. Something little that you can see at the start of the game. I feel like you definitely could do that. And that just adds into the realism as well, because that's what the presentation is, trying to add into the realism of the game, because that is what you want. Now, final thing for the presentation, and that is cutscenes. Please allow us to add in. Please allow and add in some more cutscenes for AFL Evolution 3. Get some more goal celebrations. Try and take some goal celebrations from the actual AFL and add into the game. For example, you've got Charlie Cameron do the motorbike. You've got Xavier Dersma do the bow and arrow. So just something they can add in down the line. Some more cutscenes. And maybe a little bit of biff here and there. That would not go. Would honestly notice that if that was in the game. Game modes. Now, I feel like I'm rambling on a bit. I know this is a longer video than expected, but this is our ultimate wish list. Game modes. Let's start with my career. Now, my career, I know a lot of people are asking for this. We want a storyline. Please, AFL Evo, give us a storyline. You see it in Madden, you see it in NBA 2K, FIFA now. They have storylines. Give us a storyline. Maybe you're young, you play in the local footy, then you go to the TAC Cup, then you get drafted, or you go from where else you are. So you start at the bottom, you move up, have a little bit of a storyline for your player. And if there is no storyline, then allow us to have a proper progression build. So you can have badges for your player. I mean, I know NBA 2K have badges. Allow us to have badges that we can upgrade for our player. Allow him to progress. It's not just the simple play the TAC Cup, every single game is the exact same. Allow him to progress. Take him down to the training field to have shots on goal, to improve, to get more badge points. Have him do a tackling drill, center clearance drill. Just something like that can allow our career player to really get rolling and allow him to progress. We want that real progression. We want to actually feel like we're an AFL player. We're just starting out. And I honestly feel like something like that. We go down to the local footy oval, we have a kick with your team. You have to go to training 2 times a week. Maybe the training is skippable, but then you have your game on the weekend. Can they put that in for us? If they do, that would be a hell of a lot of fun. I honestly feel like it would add to my career experience, having that progression, training every week, endorsements, all that kind of stuff, signing with shoe brands, with football boot brands and all that kind of stuff. You can have fake football brands if you can't get the licensing of the actual Nike and all that kind of stuff. And that leads us on to... Now, I'm going to talk about the coach career at the end, but this is something I want to see in AFL Evolution 3. And that is my team. Can we please get my team in AFL Evolution 3? We open packs, we build a team, we have challenges. Maybe the challenges against old teams, old historic teams, James Hird, Nathan Buckley, all that kind of stuff. Give us packs, give us my teams. We can create the ultimate my teams, go online, have ultimate battles with each other. That would be a whole lot of fun. And you have challenges against the CPU, against each other, similar to NBA 2K. I feel like every single game now has a My Team mode. AFL Evolution needs it. If you don't want it to be online, just let us maybe get in-game currency where we can... I mean, this is a great way for AFL Evo to make money and to really keep rolling. I know I'm not a massive fan of the in-game purchases, but this is a great way for them to really springboard into AFL Evolution 4 and really get that backing. A My Team mode for AFL Evolution 3, please make it happen. I mean, I would help with that if that come up. I mean, I've got so many ideas for AFL Evolution 3 My Team. What do you guys think? Now we move on to my coach and my career, and this is probably one of the biggest talking points of my wish list that I've received from people. It comes down to this. Please make coach career a little bit more realistic. When you simulate games, there's a lot of times when the results are not realistic. It doesn't really allow us to do rebuilds because other teams just delist their best player. They drop their best player. The CPU has to be a lot more smarter. It has to allow us to actually, if you want to be a coach, simulate games and not have so many players get delisted in playing VFL. I mean, for example, I had Jordan De Goey playing in the VFL when I was doing a Collingwood coach career. Like, Jordan De Goey, really? Like, is he going to get delisted to the VFL? I don't think so. And that comes down to injuries as well. I feel like there's got to be a way we can actually just clear injuries. If someone has an injury, clear it. Because I've played a few coach careers and my best players have been rubbed out for 30 weeks. Now, there is sliders where you can actually adjust that. But allow us to have the ability to clear injuries. Allow us to take full control of the coach career. Give us the option for a coach career setting sliders so we can adjust that. And that also comes down to uploading the sliders to a cloud where we can all download. So coach career, please give us that. And coach career, the realistic stats and settings and all that kind of stuff. You want to have the good teams being good. You want to have the bad teams being bad, and then you want draft picks to come in and be good draft picks. I mean, you just don't want players coming in and you don't like. For me personally, I don't really know who the draft picks are when they come in and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, if they can add in a more realistic coach career, can allow us to do rebuilds, and with the coach careers, if they could maybe have like a news hub, so you can have like players injured, you can go into the news hub to see who's playing well, what team won, how they won, and all that kind of stuff. If you have a news hub for a My Coach series, it really immerses you with the series. Because that is one thing with AFL Evolution 2 with the coach careers. I don't really know what's going on with the rest of the league. All we have is a ladder, and the realistic stats are just not there at the moment. Give us realistic stats. If that means, like I do with, if you play a 5-minute quarter, allow it to have an engine where it kind of mathematically puts what it would have been if it was a 20-minute quarter, real-life quarter. So let's say Dusty had 4 disposals. Maybe Dusty had, maybe they've got to times it by 2.5 or something like that, or something gives you that realistic stat. So maybe 4 disposals, and then Dusty at the end has 9 disposals at the end of the first quarter. We want realistic stats, and we want the best players getting these realistic stats, because I think every single year the Brownlow's won, it's won by a ruckman. We don't want a ruckman winning the Brownlow. I mean, Brodie Grundy, yes, Max Gawn, but I mean, do we want Sam Jacobs winning the Brownlow? No. The votes definitely need to be a lot different in the coach career. I feel like they definitely need to add that. And maybe add in like a little bit of a Brownlow night for the coach career where they do the best on for every single game. You can fast forward it and all that kind of stuff. Have a awards ceremony. with the coach career, I also think they need to add in like some milestones. So when you guys know there's a milestone, it lets you know it's Patrick Cripps 100 game. I know they do that in AFL Evo too, but you don't really notice sometimes. But allow us to have a look at a milestone settings window where we can go and have a look and really add into that. And that leads us on to, with the coach career, preseason games. Allow preseason games to be at local fields. Every single time I play in the preseason, we play at grounds like the MCG and there's 100,000 people there. Like I mean, that comes back to the crowds realistic. Allow us to add in our own crowds, how many crowds there are. Please allow us to add in an ability where we can adjust the crowds and allow us to play in the preseason at local footy grounds like they do in the actual AFL. I think that would be a lot of fun. And I honestly do feel like that would add to the presentation and realistic nature of the game. Now, my final one for the coach career, and it basically does come back. I'm just going to list 5 things. I'm not going to go into depth with them. But one is ratings. The ratings need to affect the teams up and down, up good and bad. Star players need to play like star players. They need to be treated like star players in the off-season. That's why I feel like teams need to make off-season changes and not allow it so easy to sign all these good players. They want to hold on to their players. Allow teams to make changes, realistic changes in the off-season. You want the draft classes to have a little bit of a storyline. So maybe in the news hub, they let you know who's going to be coming through the draft. And, I mean, just allow us to scout teams. I mean, you want teams to be different. You want teams to play different, like I said, in the gameplay. I mean, that would be a lot of fun if they could do that. Grand final experience. We want a grand final experience properly. Maybe have like a cutscene of the parade. Have a proper build-up to the grand final. Have a more realistic celebration. I mean, we just have the exact same celebration from AFL Evo 1. Please allow us to change that. Have the Norm Smith. I mean, you want coach progression as well. Maybe the coach progression comes into like the badges system for the career. Have your coach progress when he gets better. Let's say you started a bottom team and you try and work up. Your progression goes with the team. So as you become a better coach, as you become a better manager, your team rises as well. Just something to think of for the game modes. If you guys want more, please comment down below as we move into the final segment, and that is the extras. For the extras, I want to start out with, now this comes into the game modes. We definitely want, I'm just going to quickly run through the extras because this video is going on a little bit longer than I thought. These are some of my fans, what they've commented down below in the Discord. This is what they want for AFL Evo, and I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of this. We want a umpire career mode. Give us an umpire career mode. Why not? I mean, umpire career mode. You run around as Razor Ray. You create your own umpire. You get booed by the crowd. That'd be a lot of fun. You walk off. Allow us to have a umpire career mode. We want a stadium builder. Can we get a stadium builder in the game? I know Cricket 19 has a stadium builder. Can we please get a stadium builder in AFL Evolution 3? That would be a lot of fun. Updated player ratings. Can we get updated player ratings? Can we get, let's say, every single week we have someone come in and they review the player ratings. Let's say Dusty Martin had a stinker. His rating goes down maybe by 1. Let's say a player like Paddy Dow has 3 weeks where he dominates. Darcy Parish, 5 weeks where he dominates. Allow his ratings to rise. I mean, that would be a lot of fun if we could have a ratings update every single week. We could do like videos where we could go and have a look and be like, hey, why has he only got his rating up by 1? We could have serious debates and all that kind of stuff. That would be a lot of fun. And I feel like you need to add in, a way we can have custom leagues, because I did have a subscriber league last year. The subscriber league didn't allow me to have a custom league on the game. So allow us to have custom leagues, custom teams. We can have our own team, our own brackets and all that kind of stuff. And it really adds in for the realism. Sim realistic. I did mention this, but we want realistic sims in the game. And, I mean, why not add that in? Goal on the mark of the year. Can we get goal on the mark of the year? Is that somewhere to have? I mean, you just never know if we could have that. But these were my wish list. That was my wish list for AFL Evolution 3. Stuttering here. It did go a bit longer than I thought. But if you guys are, I mean, still here, still around at the 27-minute mark, I want to thank you so much for watching the video. And please let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this AFL Evolution 3 Ultimate Wish List. If you guys want to add in more, please comment down below. But let me know if you agree with what some of the things I brought up in this video. I did rabble on quite a lot. It's been about 30 minutes. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. AFL Evo 3 will be out in the PS5. We don't know when. if there is even an AFL Evo 3. But if there is, we will be there and we will be playing it. That was my wish list. Please comment down below. Face reveal is coming very, very soon in the next week or so, so get ready for that. I want to thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next video on the channel. Stay blessed.